So here we are at Zion National Park, and this is the east entrance, and it's kind of the secret passageway and a way to get in and out of Zion when it's at the crazy season, which is any time from April, May, June, even July. So this is what I mean when I say there isn't much of a line if you go through this direction. Again, this is the east entrance to Zion, and there's maybe 10 cars in front of me. We'll wait maybe 5 minutes to get inside. View of all this beautiful, beautiful red rock everywhere you turn. Let's take a look together. I've been through Zion several times, and for me, each time is different and new because it changes for me in subtle ways. Sometimes I've driven my own car, actually mostly my own car, but sometimes I've taken the shuttle, and I've enjoyed that too. The time of the year and the weather, the time of day and the light can all make a difference. I've driven through snow, crowds so thick you couldn't even stop. When it's been windy and cold, and I didn't even want to get out of my car, but it's always beautiful. Now we're moving into a different kind of pretty. The rocks aren't quite as red, the peaks aren't quite as high, the striations look a little different. Just soak it all in. After a brief stop, we're headed into the tunnel. Did I mention I'm claustrophobic? It'll be okay. It's only 1.1 miles long. Construction began on the tunnel in the 1920s and was completed in 1930. When it was opened, it was the longest tunnel of its type in the United States. This is a little window that they put in there so that people like me can not freak out. And now we're coming to the end. Yay! There's light at the end of the tunnel. As we exit the tunnel and round the corner, we get these spectacular, majestic views of these really high mountains. I have no idea how high they are. Let's just enjoy it together as we ride along. We take a hairpin turn and end up in this area where we can look across the canyon and pan to our right, and eventually, you see the band there, you're going to see the little window that we looked out when we went through the tunnel. And as we head toward the main entrance to the park, we're leaving Zion after a beautiful drive through a beautiful place. We're going to be going into the town of Springdale, and from there we'll be at the Grafton ghost town in just a few minutes. To get to Grafton, you go through Springdale a few miles and you'll make a left and you'll go across this really quaint little bridge. It's a single car bridge, and that leads you down a long road that is not in good repair, but it isn't too bad, to the ghost town of Grafton, Utah. This is Grafton. It's a ghost town, and it was established in, I think it was 1862. And this is what remains. There are basically 4 buildings in this area, and then we have some others that are in the outlying, and mostly these were farmers. They just, you know, cattle, hay, things like that. Here's the church. And it was more than just a church. Back in those days in the small towns, what they would do is use it for a meeting place. They'd have dances there and people would come from all around. I'm gonna go take a look inside. This is one of the first houses built when they established the town. And they didn't just move in, have supplies, and build the house. Everything they had to find locally or in the area and bring it back. Let's go take a look inside. I think I mentioned before the house was built in 1862, and obviously it probably wouldn't still be standing. So it was lovingly restored through a trust and contributions from citizens and such, and it was rebuilt in 2004. But the thing to keep in mind, it wasn't just rebuilt, it was rebuilt exactly to the specifications when the house was originally built. So if you look at everything like the plaster walls and such, the fact that the walls are about a foot thick, you see the construction methods of the era, even though it was restored in '04. This was a bedroom. And look how tiny it is by our standards. I would say it's probably 8 feet by 12, maybe. And as we take a last look at one of the homes of the era, that concludes our trip, not only here to Grafton, but our big trip to Zion and Bryce and points in between. I hope you enjoyed it. There are going to be a lot more. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.